Hey everyone, so thought I'd do something different here and do kind of a live stream. Screen a little bit. Um, so thanks for joining. I appreciate anyone that's here. Feel free to message in the chat. I'd love for this to be kind of interactive, but I'd just do kind of a sit down and see who joins and maybe hear some stuff that I normally don't talk about or aren't part of my normal tutorial videos or anything like that. So if you don't know me, I'm Daniel Whitlow. Um, Interest in John Deere tractors and antique tractors, hence that's most of my channel and things. Kind of married into the farm life a little bit here in Western Pennsylvania. So I'm also an engineer by trade, mechanical engineer. So yeah, I can get more into that stuff if any of you are interested. But thought I'd just kind of give some background maybe on myself, talk about some projects, what all I'm working on, what's going on. I know I was pumping out a fair amount of videos over the holidays. Actually had time to work on stuff, and now it's kind of the opposite. I'm really swamped at work and things like that. So um, kind of at a not a standstill on the high crop, but I did learn some interesting facts about the high crop that I was hoping to share here tonight. So if anyone that's online, I was just wondering if we could run I mean, I could do an official poll, but um, just curious where all you guys are from. If you want to put in the chat, and I'd love to know. So, like I said, I'm from southwestern Pennsylvania, kind of south of Pittsburgh. So, you guys see in my videos, we're in pretty hilly country for some of those videos. Um, but yeah, we have beef cattle that we deal with. So we have round bales and square bales and hay and things like that. Manitoba. All right. Well, thanks for joining. Um, I'm assuming you guys want to tell me what all tractors you have or what interests you have, bring you to my channel or any questions I can answer right now. Curious. I mean, so I've got the 4020 high crop right now, the B, and then the 39A. I sold my G a few months ago. That was to kind of help fund the high crop. Not like selling the G. It puts a dent into what the high crop is going to be. But yeah, it was time to move on from that one. Had my fun with that. Needed to make room for the others. Um, so in regards to my high crop, I recently got this book from Green Magazine, the John Deere High Crop book, and it has like all of the serial numbers and like ship dates and various things for all high crops, basically from letter series up through the new generation. And so my high crop is 1964, and I looked it up in here, and I was shocked to find that it was the second John Deere 4020 high crop made. It was shipped the same day as the first high crop, and that was January 20th, 1964. And it went to Donaldsonville, Louisiana. So it's a long way from home, being in Pittsburgh or South Pittsburgh. I'm trying to track down the history a little bit on it. I've gotten somewhere with it a little bit. I talked to the second to last owner, and he bought the property, and the tractor was just there with it in the barn, or sorry, not in the barn. It was sitting outside the barn. So I was questioning him, and it all was kind of starting to add up. You know, the tractor had water in it, and um, it obviously sat outside. Well, I'd always wondered. Let's see. This is my first time doing a live stream, so apologies on this, and um, give me one moment to see how I can work some of this. I was going to show you a picture here. I want to show a specific window. Um, I'm not sure it's going to let me. All right, here's what we'll do. I'll just share my entire screen for a moment. All right. So this was the cover that came with the tractor on the transmission, and I always wondered why in the world this cover was in such good condition, and the rest of the tractor obviously has sat outside. Well, the second to last owner clarified that for me, that someone opened the transmission up, took this cover inside the barn, and there it sat for however many years, and it just sat outside. So I'm not sure it showed there. It didn't. Hold on a second. So this was the cover I was talking about. Uh, I'm wondering if that's what the tractor looked like before it sat outside, and which is really, real fortunate. Um, all right, we got a question in the chat here. 49A fan shaft is leaking oil out of it. At what end is the oil seal? So 49A. It's funny. I had some of this coming out. My B also. There should be a seal on the back side closest to the governor. Yeah, because I know there's not a seal on the front. There shouldn't be oil at the front. Not sure if the 49As, I assume they're like the Bs, where there was uh, like an air pump in the back part of the governor fan shaft assembly there, right where it mates with the governor. And there's an oil. There is a seal in there. Yeah, you shouldn't be getting oil at the very front of that fan. So, fortunately, to do that, you got to take the whole governor fan assembly off. You'll want to unbolt it. You don't want to just take the fan out. You can maybe get away with that, not taking the governor off, but mating those gears back, the fan shaft gear to the governor gear, is very critical that gets right. Otherwise, you'll have a whine in it as it runs. Sometimes you'll hear some tractors that have that, like a real high pitched whine at high RPMs coming from the governor area. It's either a bearing inside the governor or it's the meshing of those gears if they're too tight. Then if it's too sloppy, they can wear the gears also. So just a warning on that. Um, so yeah, the high crop, I'm close to getting it back together. I got to make a parts run here in a few weeks out to Indiana, get a bunch of parts. Um, I just want to see that tractor come back together. I had a video putting the clutch housing on. I got to take that off real quick because there's a spring by the PTO brake, and in between that and the gear I forgot to put in. But anyway, so then that I'll have a new video coming soon. Um, Hopefully after this weekend, putting like the new rear main seal on and so on. So that's getting close to going back together, and that'll be exciting just to have it as one. Again, hopefully it goes together easily. I also had a post a few weeks back. I got the old B in the shop. So, that was the first project. My first videos here on YouTube were working on my B. I never completed it. I had the sheet metal. I had painted most of it, but I wanted the sheet metal to be done professionally. So I sent that off to someone. Lo and behold, I just got it back after a few years. Um, so I've got the hood done. It looks beautiful. The grills still need to be done. But yeah, I've had an issue with the pulley actually. The pulley for some reason is going on too far, and the lugs on the kind of dogs and toggles on the pulley casting is rubbing that what do you call it? Not the oil slinger, the like thin sheet metal cover on the outside of the gear reduction cover. Um, and it's wearing the lugs on that now. I think it wore it to the point that it doesn't matter anymore, but I'm trying to figure out why, and I can't figure that out yet. So yeah, I'm trying to get the B completely together, have that one done. I'm also replacing the flywheel, hence I had that 2 cylinder and 2 minute short the other day. Talking about flywheel cracks. So that B is a good example. Unfortunately, it was a expensive learning experience. They're saving tractors, and there's certainly value if there's sentimental value or something. But I've almost replaced more on that B than what it came with it. That just comes, of course, at a cost. But so yeah, the flywheel was another thing that I just needed to replace on it. So working on that, but hopefully in the coming weeks here I'll have a video getting that together. I see we got a few more people watching. I appreciate everyone joining. If you don't mind, put it down in the chat where you're from. I'd love to hear where you're from, or a name. I don't see handles or anything with the chat, at least the way it is right now. But I'm kind of doing this to hopefully connect with you guys. So yeah, just put in whatever you'd like in there. And trying to think what else did I have on Milan, Indiana. Like, all right. Some little bit of Midwesters here. Yeah, unfortunately, I had this scheduled at 7, and I know that probably doesn't work for those kind of on the West Coast because you're the 3 hours behind. 4 o'clock, you're just getting off work. But unfortunately, any later, I struggle with because bedtime for my kids. So I have 3 kids, 6, 4, and 1.5. Um, so yeah, and any later becomes difficult for me. But we'll see. I can arrange it later, maybe some other time. So all right. So yeah, Indiana, Kentucky, 50A. All right. Um, anyone have any non 2 cylinders? I mean, of course, most of my focus is 2 cylinders, and the high crop was the exception. So new subscriber. All right. Tallahassee, Florida. All right. Way down south. I won't lie if I said I didn't wish our weather was like Florida right now. But, I'm not a fan of winter. I always joke to my wife, why couldn't I have married into a farmer from Florida? But, alas, Western Pennsylvania it is. Um, yeah, I was surprised they said on the Weather Channel we're below our normal snow totals because I felt like we'd have a lot. So where am I picking parts in Indiana? Lind Brothers. So I have a big order with them. I don't know that it'll all fit in the truck. I'll probably be taking a trailer down. It's taking them a while to gather all of the parts up. So yeah, we'll see. Almost too warm here, too fast in Florida. Yeah, you can't be too warm for here. No. Um, yeah, as long as it's not like this summer where we had a terrible drought, absolutely terrible drought. Yeah, Lynn Brothers. Yeah, I like them too, and I like Ryan, and they're good folks. It seems like now since I'd never gone with New Paris parts, but now that they're you know Richard Brown shut down, it seems like Lynn Brothers pretty well the biggest out there for like two cylinders and things like that. There's also a place north of me here called Berg's. That's where I had one video walking through that line of tractors at that salvage yard. That place is kind of unique because it's literally a you pull it, you go and pull it apart, and then come back and pay whatever price. Um, -30 in Canada today. I hope that's Fahrenheit. It has to be, right? Um, all right. Tractor height 38 case RC Sunburst grill. All right, and a 50M, not currently running. All right. Dubuque tractor. Haven't dealt with any Dubuques yet. Um, so yeah, what else here? I think some of you may have seen. I launched kind of a new series I thought about doing called the Two Cylinders in 2 minutes. Just 2 minute clips, fun facts about the two cylinders. They may be kind of random. They'll probably be as I get material like to talk about, other than just talking to them, or doing pictures or things. Hence, like the flywheel one. I have another one coming up about unique bolts on the tractor. Some of you may know what they are. I won't spoil it yet. Um, so yeah, I was just going to do that, and if there's uh, questions like that, hey, you want to reach out, hey, this might be a good idea as a little tidbit to talk about. Let me know. I'm always looking for more content or material. I do these videos to kind of help all of you. How I kind of got into this, my grandpa was a farmer in Illinois, and bleeds John Deere green. And what this is no lie, but I was born, and my parents will attest to this. My first words were mom, dad, tractor, and John Deere. That's just the way I was raised. Um, and So we moved away from Illinois when I was real young, and so I'd go back and visit with my grandpa, and we'd do tractor stuff whenever we can. He has some antiques, a 49R, 2520 gas that he's owned since new, and some others, 60 and so on. And I always wanted a B. It was one of those things. Don't ask me why. I know it's the plain Jane most popular tractor, but there was just something about the B I always liked. And just uh, my grandfather looked into getting one a few times, just never got one. And I went to a sale one day with my father-in-law, and lo and behold, here was this John Deere B. Um, let's see here. I give me a moment. I bet I can find the picture. Um, my wife was 37 weeks pregnant at that point, and um, oh no, I don't have it. It's only on Facebook. But my wife was 37, 38 weeks pregnant, and this John Deere B was sitting there outside, probably like the high crop. It'd been out there for years, and the price tag was so low on it. I said, "Oh my gosh, this is my dream coming true." And I bought it. I was just excited, tickled to death. You know, no experience actually working on the tractors whatsoever. So yeah, little did I know how much it was going to cost and how much frustration it was going to be. It's still, like I told you earlier, it's still got bugs and kinks to it that I can't figure out to this day. It's kind of like a unicorn almost, just can't figure it out. Um, but yeah, so again, kind of working on that again, trying to wrap that up, hopefully. All right, who else we got here? Christian, welcome, Christian, or Chris, sorry. Gap, Pennsylvania, and Lancaster. Okay, beautiful country out there in Lancaster. My wife has some friends that part of the in the Amish out there. It's been out there time. Just bought a 41H. All right, little thing. Friend of mine on Facebook, Lake Hall. He's all into H's. Somewhere down in the Kentucky range. Canefield Family Farm. Hey, I'm subscribed to your channel, buddy. So yeah, rear axle video, good. I'm glad that helped you. That was the rear axle video. If you're talking about my G1, that was kind of a humbling video because um, guilty as charged. I don't really show much of the seal going in, and that's because if you look in the comments, someone called me out that I put the seal in the wrong way. Um, the old type of seal that was in it, I don't. It may have been directional, but it wasn't like newer seals today where you have the spring visible and all that. And I don't know how in the world. Yeah, I guess I could figure out now on how you would tap in the other one with the spring pointing inward. But anyway, I put it in the wrong way, and it leaked. It leaked. Um, but yeah. So hey, I'm making these videos and I'm still screwing up here too. So give me a break if I do something like that. Just tell me nicely, and I appreciate it. So whereabouts in Illinois are you from? My dad's from Oglesby, Illinois. All right. So just east of St. Louis is a little town called Highland, Illinois, right off of Interstate 70. I think mile marker 29 on 70. So that's where I'm from. All flat land. I live in Pennsylvania. The hills are beautiful, but I don't like hills, um, especially when it comes to farm work. Just the dangers of them. I mean, my son is 6, and part of me wishes we were in flatland because I could let him do more. But in these hills, I know he I won't be able to let him truly drive a tractor for many years, probably a teenager, just because the hills around where we are so steep, that you can really get yourself in a bind. Um, but yeah, from one extreme to the other. Um, so trying to think what else. I haven't talked about the D. Um, I really want to tear into that D. I really do, but one, I'm already taking up my father-in-law's shop with 2 tractors at the moment, and I'm worried about that D. When if you guys saw the video from a couple weeks ago, I ran a borescope into it, kind of a non-invasive look in it, and it is not good inside. So I know there's another channel. I'll probably screw up the name. Pops Antique. They're restoring some D's on there right now. There was an old DI that they literally practically pulled out of the ground. So and I know anything can be saved, or some people say if it casts a shadow, it can be saved. Um, I don't want to steal parts from a good tractor just to fix a bad tractor though too. But hey, we'll see about that. But it's hard. It's sitting outside the shop, so every time I go to and from the farm, because the actual farm is down the road from me. It's sitting outside, just like enticing me to tear into it. But patience, patience. Um, yeah. Um, what else we got out there? Um, trying to think of what else. When I was searching before the 4020, the high crop, I was actually looking for a 630. I was wanting to do another 2-cylinder. I was this close to getting a 730 diesel electric start. Um, my suggestion to people: if you want something, just show up with the cash. Don't ask. Just show up with the cash, because that's how I lost out. There's a guy locally who had a 730 diesel electric start that it was apart for years. And I kept asking about, hey, what's status? Did you ever finish it? Did you ever finish it? No, I never finished it. No. And so since I was looking for a new project, I went to him and I said, hey, you willing to sell that? And he goes, I can't believe it, but I had someone else just randomly stop I think that day or the day before. And he said, I got to figure out a price and so on. And I said, well, you let me know. And the other guy just showed up with cash. So I missed out on that. But, I talked about the B being my original tractor. I'd love for you guys put down in the chat what is your dream tractor? Maybe you have it. What else is there that you are interested in? If money weren't an option or anything like that, I'd be curious to hear. Um, but yeah, I had the B, and then um, after the B, the A with the corn picker. So my 39A, if you guys seen the videos, when I first got it, had a 101 John Deere corn picker on it. That was a random auction purchase. Not sure the wife really approved that one. Because I was gonna flip it. I got a B that I used parts for, and I fell in love with the A, and now it's honestly probably my favorite tractor because the 39 is just kind of a unique. I know it's just an A, but it really is unique to other years. And then after the A, it was kind of a okay. I got the A, I got the B. Everyone seemed to be wanting a G. I thought G's are really cool, so hence I got the G and worked on a G. And um, I at some point want to work on the 30 series, either 630. I want to just stick to gas or 730. Um, but we'll see in time. Uh, buddy Kenny, I watch his channel a little bit. Yeah, he's restoring a D. Yeah, I understood. He's one of those people that yeah, if it casts a shadow, it can be saved. Um, so yeah, the A, yeah, the A. I'm trying to get my video series better as I go along. Yeah, I look back at some of my B videos and kind of cringeworthy, but progress, right? Um, R Rice Special Pony Start and a 35B. Whoa. Um, so my grandpa's 49R. Um, I I don't think the research was ever really done on it. I wanted to do that as a Christmas present one time, but never did. But it had the wide, fat tires on the back, like the Rice Special. I don't know that it was true that. The other interesting thing about that R was it was at one point a tandem R tractor. When you looked at the handle, the clutch handle had a hole in it, and that's because of it was the tandem tractor. It was hooked up in tandem. So um, yeah, someone said they still knew where like the I don't know what you want to call it the sled or whatever was the connector, but yeah, that would be a sight to see. I've seen a few tandems at a couple shows, but I've never seen two R's in tandem. So your case is Dream 35 brass tag, the 4 bolt. Yeah, yeah. The unstyleds are nice. I don't know. I'll probably have one at some point, but it's nothing super drawn to them for me. Um, my 39A, I kind of wish I had put like I found and put on I may pronounce it wrong, Balin overdrive. Love that tractor, but the 4 speed on it it's hard to go anywhere with it. Like I can't, I'm not going to take that on a poker run or anything like that because it's just too slow. But yeah, so see here what else. That's pretty much it. The high crop, of course, is my rule of thumb has kind of been before to kind of get through the tractor. If you well, you can't really tell the dates and any on the older stuff, but I like to kind of get through a tractor in maybe a little over a year. Um, it shocks me that I've had the high crop since last March, so we're approaching a year, and we are nowhere close to being done with that, unfortunately. So, I mean, it might be once I get together and whole again. I'll keep fiddling maybe with other projects. My father-in-law allows it. Um, 49, 18 miles an hour. What size tires do you have on there? 18 miles an hour. I thought most peaked out. I thought, geez, my G man, that thing would haul. I I never tested the speed on it, but I thought those peaked out at like 13, 14 miles an hour. Um, so if Farmall, if anyone has ever looked at an F20. Yeah, I only have time for one series. I think about that. I'm very appreciative of all of the other knowledge out there and people that have a lot more time. I wish I could do more videos. I wish I could work on tractors more. I'm just at a super busy stage of life that I do what I can, and with three young kids and obviously a full time job. Right now, it's even more than that. It's difficult, for me to get shop time. Uh, we'll see. Like I said, doing what I can. Um, hmm. Ooh, good question. Yeah, so has anyone in the chat participated in the Mackinac Bridge tractor crossing in Michigan? I've thought about that. I want to do it. It's like a 9 or 10 hour drive for me though. Um, so it's kind of like Classic Green this year is up in West Bend, Wisconsin. Highly, highly encourage. If anyone can make it, go to Classic Green. Um, oh, they did 16. Um, so yeah, Classic Green is June, like the 10th through the 12th. Let me look at my calendar this year. June 12th through the 14th up in West Bend, Wisconsin. It's going to be a huge show. Um, I know last year there was the huge show out in, shoot, I'm blanking on the name. I keep forgetting the name. Um, they were featuring John Deere, but Classic Green is John Deere only. I did not go to it. It's an every other year event. I didn't go to the one in Tennessee. It just didn't work out timing wise for me. It was an over 8 hour drive and so on. Um, but I'm definitely gonna make it to West Bend. I've booked my hotel. I've told the wife. I said, either you're coming or you're not. I said, I'm going with your permission, dear. and yeah, so I'd love to meet people up there. So keep that in mind if anyone's going. Um, yeah, definitely looking forward to that. Same thing. I was thinking about bringing a tractor, but I was hoping to have my P together by that point because it's the 90th year anniversary of the B. So they will be featuring the bees there, among some other things. I don't know if I will or not. We may make a family vacation out of it. So if so, um, I certainly won't be bringing a truck, trailer, and tractor on vacation. So we'll see how things go, but may just make that drive. As much as I'd love to bring a tractor there. So yeah, we went to the Two Cylinder Expo, Eastern Expo in Lancaster, Ohio this past year. Hopefully you guys saw that video. It was pretty good. I expected a little bit more crowd turnout, but unfortunately there wasn't really. But yeah, I got to talk to some good people and see some nice tractors and talk it up. They had some good demonstrations there. Um, they had the tractor games. If any of you saw that video, I'd never done tractor games. I'd always wanted to do tractor games. So it was fun to do that. I don't know why they don't have more stuff like that at various shows and things. It's just something to do with your tractor. But yeah, I'm curious if anyone else that has who all has done tractor games or has any interest like that. Um, so yeah, crossing the bridge. That's a good question. Um, I think I have heard that you have to pay to join one of the clubs. I never thought about the insurance, but that kind of makes sense. Uh, I know I don't really carry, and I don't know. There's I know that sometimes comes up in the Facebook um, groups about insurance on the tractors and things. Um, what was your favorite tractor game? The one I won, of course. No, I'm just kidding. Um, so what? There was the chain one. Uh, I think the barrel one. I think that one was pretty fun and unique. The blind obstacle course that's interesting too. You know, to have a partner help you with that. Um, you know, the G is just not for the slow poke race. The guys with the duplex carburetors, I learned that day the benefit of a duplex carburetor versus the single. Those guys with the duplex, man, they can get those things tuned to just putt. Just pretty incredible. So that was fun to watch, but my G was not tuned to that level and that single carburetor. And plus, I had those high compression pistons in that G, and it I think it seemed to me like just too much compression when you got real low in it. It took a lot to get over top dead center, and it just didn't make very well for the slow race. I think I needed another gear lower just to even get in the be in competition with the others. So um, yeah. Oh, hey, I just realized that was my wife asking me that question. Hmm. Guess I better not talk too bad about her if she's listening. Um, so yeah, I'm really excited. As I keep saying, that I know I'm not sure who all has joined and come in along the way to keep working on this high crop. If you didn't hear at the very beginning, I don't think there were too many people. I got this John Deere high crop book. It tells you the like ship date and ship location for every high crop tractor between the letter series up to new gen. And I found out, you know, if there was any question, you know, whether saving this 4020 high crop was worth it, it was the second 4020 high crop that was made. Um, so it's pretty exciting. I can at least say at this point it's the earliest known 4020 high crop because I don't know if the first one is still out there. I'd be curious to know what transmission the first one had because if mine was the first power shift. But yeah, hey, so I've enjoyed your videos. Thank you very much, Dave from Idaho. Yeah, I know you've been watching and subscribed for a while, so thanks for being a supporter, Dave. And everyone else, again, I do these videos to kind of help you. I started to get into it earlier. So when I got my B, there was 1 minute farming. If you ever look up that channel, 1 minute farming, all one word. Gentleman over in England or the UK did a like 78 part series on restoring his B. That is what inspired me to do the series. Is he helped me so much, and I just kind of wanted it to kind of become a thing that I would do it also and help other people. Um, yeah, that's my goal is, there's we want to keep this hobby going. These older tractors, their values are going down. Less people are working on them, and it's they're not exactly useful tractors, right? That's kind of part of my struggle is I love to have a tractor of my own that I can really use around the farm. Um, we got a bunch of red here. My father-in-law likes red, um, and I can talk about them in a minute. Um, but uh, but yeah, so that eventually we're getting there. Um, so let's see here. If you have any high crop questions, call Ken at K&K. Okay, I will keep that in mind. Um, how old was I when I started tinkering on vintage tractors? I was 29. That was when I got my B. Like I said, I was always interested in them, and this comes down to it. And I say this about life is um, just opportunities, right? Is you know my grandpa was really into them, but he was in Illinois, and I was, we lived in Ohio, then here in Pennsylvania, and I'd only really get a chance to kind of tinker on things when I was in Illinois with him, maybe once or twice a year. So it wasn't until 2019 when I got my B that it was like that I'm going to do this. Before that, I was kind of starting to get into woodworking, and then when I that B was there at that estate sale, I think I said auction earlier. It was an estate sale, and I just bought it on a whim, and that was the start. That was it. I had the tractor I always wanted, and just kind of been off to the races after that. Slow races, slow, working on them. But I give John Deere credit. Um, they wrote some great manuals back in the day that I would be completely lost without it. And I wish I had a protege to work under. I have a friend that I've through all of this, I became friends with kind of a local guy who does it as kind of a side business. And I don't see him in person too often, but we're constantly messaging back and forth, and he's helping me kind of figure things out. Um, but I wish so much on any of this stuff. If I could have had someone closer to help me. If any of you watch, I know it may not be the most interesting video, um, especially if you're only into two cylinders. But a few weeks ago, I posted a video on the steering valve rebuild for the high crop. I went to an expert out in kind of just south of Lancaster, Ohio, and humbling experience, of course. Like I debated doing that myself. John from is it like maybe forget, he does a bunch of videos. Apologies, I'm blanking on his channel. He works on new gens and Gen 2 and things like that. He did a great video talking about how to go through them and different seals and things like that. And I thought about doing it myself, and boy, was I glad I didn't do it. I know I said that in the video, but to just watch an old timer and all the things he knows from doing it for 50 years, because he said he started in the 70s. I mean, it's just there's just so much to grasp there, and on these new generations, the people that can work on them, they're either dying off or they're stopping doing it. Even here locally, like the unless you go to the dealer, even dealers anymore, I'm starting to hear don't want to work on like older equipment, older even being like 70s. It's hard to find people to work on them. So I think it's important to get this knowledge recorded if we can and share as much as we can as long as it's retrievable and YouTube helps you find it. If you don't mind, who do you talk to locally? Um, Scott Seiler is a local guy. There's a guy named Randy Wargo. I haven't really talked to him, but he's a guy that I know works on all kinds locally. And Steve Aggers is my good buddy. So yeah, he does polling locally here. Um, Hopefully they all don't mind me giving a shout out to them. So where are you from, Joey? If it was higher in the chat, apologies. Um, wow, this chat has gotten a little long, so we appreciate that, everyone. Uh, yeah, that's kind of my local go tos. Um, since we have a lot, I've spent this talking about green tractors. I assume that's where my base is listening to this. We've got quite a few red tractors. I thought about, like, I think it was back in 2022. Oh yeah, Joey. Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, that's all I needed. Yeah, good to see you back. Appreciate it. Um, yeah, we've got an 806 diesel with a turbo, a 966. That's our bale wrapper tractor. We've got a 966 hydro. Forget it. If I did any videos on that. I love that tractor. In these hills, a hydro is awesome. I've never had a power shift other than this high crop, which doesn't count. Um, so I really like that hydro a lot. We got the 3010 John Deere. That's the other John Deere I convinced my father-in-law to get. It does okay as a raking tractor. I wish it had a little more power to it. Um, the Farmall 560 that we have, it's no comparison for that tractor. That 560 could run laps around that 3010. It's just not comparable. Um, what else do we have? Oh yeah, we've got the big 7400. I know I've done a couple videos on that because that's I know it's not the most interesting, but that's sometimes for you guys just to see where my time has been. We're trying to do maybe a little bit of maintenance right now, fixing things up. Wintertime seems like we always wait until springtime and the weather's right for hay to start mowing tomorrow. Let's fix the tractors right now. Um, yeah, the Farmall 560 is a great machine. Yeah, I will say that that's a powerful little tractor. Ours is my wife jokes is the redheaded stepchild. It's pretty beat up, but you push the glow plug button and that tractor will fire up. I mean, that is the one weird thing about those tractors is the glow plugs. I mean, you could run that thing for 10 hours in a day, and if you shut it off for 3 minutes, you got to use the glow plugs to restart it. It's just the oddest thing. So, yeah, we're working on restoring the 560 this spring. Cool, cool. Um, so, hey Joey, by the way, did you ever reset your governor on the timing? I was looking actually at my B the other day. I've got the same thing on my B. It's off one click on the governor. It still does okay, but the magneto is maxed out and its adjustment, debating pulling that governor off just to set it right. What's frustrating is I did that once before and I thought I had it right. And obviously, I didn't. Um, but yeah, so always so much to do. Yeah, on our hydro, we one of the injectors is bleeding off fuel, makes it hard to start. So we got to work on that at some point. All right, good. Glad you got that figured out. And hopefully now it starts a lot easier for you. And if not, like I said, reach out. I'll come over and we'll get that thing tuned and timed up so it'll start right away for you. You can impress all the girls. Where all do I get parts from? All over. It depends on what the parts are. When it comes to, like, if it's a salvage part, I'll typically go to Lynn Brothers for that. Um, I've gone to Martin's Parts and Repair before. They're good to deal with. Um, when it comes to like remanufactured parts, new parts, really all depends on what's available out there. So with the high crop so far, I've kind of been shopping around because it's hard when you're looking at parts. You don't know what is just a price difference one place to another, and what is a quality difference. Um, and so yeah, I've been buying I think a good bit from like I think it's reliable aftermarket parts. Sometimes there's all state ag parts for like newer stuff, things like that. Of course, Lynn Brothers sells newer stuff, and the thing I've learned with Lind Brothers, and I really appreciate and respect is like they only sell high quality parts. So if they don't have something, there might be a reason in that. If all these other companies want to sell, I'll be honest with you. Sediment bowls are a good example. Um, I haven't had my A going for probably 6 8 months now, only because well, I want to get a good sediment bowl for it, and the place to go to is George Persinger from Green Parts of Virginia, or I'm assuming someone can correct me if I'm wrong here. He works with a Ray, I think, up in New York. Anyway, they make like they've designed and engineered a sediment bowl assembly that is like truly engineered with um, not plastic, but like bushings and things like that in it. So it you will not have leak by past it. You don't have to worry about the sediment bowl going past. You don't have to worry about your three-way valves are really not great for holding back the fuel. That's why I took it apart on my A because it used to be my three-way valve. My sediment bowl was the valve on that was garbage, and I could use my three-way valve to shut the fuel off. I started noticing late last year that the three-way valve was not holding fuel back, and my carb was because I had the carb professionally rebuilt. But I you don't want to rely on the carb, the float, especially as long as my tractor sit to hold back that fuel. So I drained it of fuel, and it's just been one of those. Um, George, when I last talked to him at Christmas time, he had to make some. They were working on some design improvements. I saw on Facebook um, that they had, I think, finished a design or made some new improvements. So I need to actually give him a call and see if he has any more available. Um, yeah. Anyway, so like Lynn Brothers, getting back to them, I saw this is just an example. The I think it was the side screens for the high crop. I was like, if I'm going all this way, I'm getting big parts, so I got to actually travel to Indiana to get them. I was like, might as well get some of this stuff, and their side screens were more expensive, and so I asked Ryan. I said, hey, like, just curious, like, is there a reason why yours are priced higher? And he goes, yeah. He goes, I think he said ours are made in the USA or the others are made in Taiwan or something. And he said the other ones are thinner. He said you'll notice as soon as you pick them up, one is heavier than the other. And I was like, okay, and I know what I want. I want the better ones. Um, yeah, J&J Ag. I've heard of them. I know of them. I haven't. Actually, I don't think gotten many parts from them, new old stocks and gaskets. Um, did I get the main bearing straightened out on my P? Saw my post on Facebook. I have not. I'm really scratching my head at that. Um, I'm waiting for my buddy Steve when he comes to drop off some tools he made for me to align the clutch engine disconnect on the 4020. I want him to have a look, but I had those main bearings re-poured on that B because the crank was ground down, and so I paid out the wazoo. Had the mains re-poured, and the guy that did it, very uh, very reputable. If you guys ever need Babbitt re-poured, the two places I never hear a bad thing about are Hart's Machine in Cecil, Ohio, and Effingham Regrinding. I think his name is Dean in Effingham, Illinois. Um, and they did it, and so I really don't suspect they did anything wrong. So I just haven't figured it out yet. Hopefully, it's not the crank that I never noticed. Um, I had a guy comment just the other night that he took his bee apart and there were two fiber washers on the inside on each side of the crank. And he was like, I think he took them out and couldn't remember which way they went. And he said, do they both go to one side or one on each side? And I said, that tractor shouldn't even have fiber washers on each side. So, not sure if it's just one of those things where maybe that's what I need to. Um, yeah, I was really hoping someone would have a bee apart and be able to give me a tape measure or send me some pictures of what theirs looked like, but fortunately, I didn't receive that. So I don't know. That's one thing I'm kind of. I mean, I haven't had too much time to, but yeah, hopefully get to that at some point here in the coming weeks. So, um, yeah. That reminds me, I forgot to call. I had mentioned I talked to the second to last owner of the high crop. I actually need to go by his place when I go to Indiana to Lynn Brothers here in a few weeks. Um, because he said there were parts of that tractor just all over inside the barn, and he said we put together what we could when he sold it to the guy that I bought it off of. But he said you're welcome to come around and look for more parts and see if something's there. So I definitely want to do that because there's parts missing. Um, Part of what I'm going to Lynn Brothers for is some of the missing parts, but um, then he gave me a name for potentially the previous owner um, that owned the land before him. So I gotta reach out to that individual, see if I can try and track down the history on that high crop a little bit more. Uh, so yeah, wow, approaching 8 o'clock here. Um, I might shut this down soon for my wife comes home with the kids and they come up here screaming. Not screaming, but haven't seen them today. So, uh, and any other questions you guys have? I really appreciate the turnout. I was worried when we started this that there wasn't anyone, and I was like, oh no, what am I getting myself into here? Didn't know if I had the following to do this. I'd love to do this more. Eventually, maybe start doing it actually in the shop. Um, but I don't have Wi-Fi in there right now, so I don't think the video quality would be very good. But yeah, eventually we'll make the Shopside chats. Hopefully Shopside. Uh, what summer tractor shows do you like to attend? So locally here in Brownsville, Pennsylvania, it's not a tractor show per se. There is the Steam Show, Malden, National Pike, Gas and Horse and Steam Shows, something like that. They do a spring show in May and an August show. Um, Honestly, once you've been there, it's the same old stuff every year, same tractors and everything. That's where Joey and I met. Um, so that's a good time. If you've never been there, highly recommend it. They have steam shovels and all kinds of things going on. I believe I have a couple videos of stuff that have gone on there. So I go to that just because it's local, easy to go to. Um, there's a couple other like really small ones that just honestly, I get so busy. I was on a work travel this year, There was another literally small show, and they were doing tractor games, so I was really sad to miss out. But I was on a bicycle trip in Washington State, I think. Um, Florida Flywheeler Show. I've heard about that. So wow, that's next week. Um, yeah, I haven't gone too far for shows. Um, so of course I try and go to Classic Green if I can. I mean, since I started going or since I got into this hobby, I went to the one in Columbus, and I missed the last one in Tennessee. Did the Eastern National Expo the last two times. So the Eastern National Expo is every other year, and then it's offset from Classic Green. Um, haven't been to it in years, but the show in Pinckneyville, Illinois, I think same thing. It's like a tractor and steam show or something like that. Huge show. Um, it's been, let's see here, it was after high school. No, yeah, but it was probably 2013 or so, 2012 since I've been there. Huge show. I'd love to go back, but again, it's an 8-hour drive, so it's not just something I go to and come back the next day or anything like that. Um, the little shows, where do I find them? So Vic's. So Joey, since you're from this area, Vic's Greenhouse. The last 2 or 3 years, they've done a little show. Forget even where they are. I don't know why I have it in my mind. Just west of Washington, a little bit. Um, the real small show. I think I went to the first year. Maybe it was the second, and they maybe had 20 tractors or something like that. I mean, real small, but I think they were trying to build it and grow. They had rides and things like that, just different things going on. Um, there's also, and I had a video on it this year, and I hadn't been to it. Same thing in probably 10 years. Was the man, I am terrible with names, so apologies. Um, yeah, Vic's. Thank you, sweetie. Vic's Greenhouse and Claysville, PA. So I was right about west, the direction. Um, yeah, the Steam show. I can look it up here real quick. The Steam show I went to was in Ohio, and it was like an hour and a half drive for me. That was cool. Not the tractors, but um, the steam engines that were there. So I had some shorts and various videos on that. So that that was really cool to see. Um, apparently, my father-in-law was watching too. He just messaged me about Claysville. So yeah, better not talk bad about anyone. You never know who's watching. So, if everyone could give a thumbs up or something for my father-in-law, he's the one that lets me use his shop, and is my second set of hands when I need him or anything. So that goes a long way. Stumptown Steam Show. That's it. Um, since you're in Pennsylvania, are you a Philadelphia Eagles fan? You don't want to bring that up around here. So we're just south of Pittsburgh. This is Steelers country, a bunch of Steelers. Um, I'm not a Steelers fan just because I'm not really from the area. The last few years, I've kind of gotten out of football. Really, I think the Super Bowl yesterday, I watched like maybe 2 quarters of, and that was the most football I think I'd watched all year. So no, you're heavy in Steelers country. Um, I got a friend at work that I think he's more from the Philadelphia area, so he has his Eagles flag. Reminds me I need to reach out to him, and I'm sure he's excited. Um, but yeah, so watching from Iowa City, welcome. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. So yeah, well, I don't know how often we'll do this. Just something to do differently. Hopefully, get you all to know me better. Um, look forward to hopefully meeting some of you at Classic Green this year. Or heck, if you're ever in the area, shoot me an email, something like that. Yeah, always looking to meet with people. This hobby, as the classic green motto, it's all about the people. So that goes a long way, and appreciate everyone supporting the channel. Um, we've grown a lot, and looking to grow more, time permitting. So, a 2510 diesel. Um, what before we got our 3010 for hay, we were looking at a 2510 diesel, um, and yeah, we ended up going with the 3010. My grandpa has a 2520 gas. Um, yeah, Synchro. Nice little tractors. Um, checking out your videos, doing all ones. Yep. So got quite a few videos out there, and it's funny. I do these videos, and I have to refer back to them myself. My wife and my father-in-law laugh at me ever since I've had kids. I used to have a great memory, and I just there's just so much to life right now that I can't remember as much as I used to. Um, so yeah, I go back to my own videos all the time. I've had my three-way valve apart on the A, and I was like, I need to find the right O-ring to fit in it. And I forget why. It was total fluke. Oh no, I know what it was. I was adding my channel email to all of my videos in the descriptions, and I went to put it in my G video where I was like redoing the gas tank, cleaning it out and everything. And I had it in the description. Oh yeah, by the way, it takes Caterpillar part number this specific O-ring. I totally forgot that someone else had told me that a cat part number specifically fits perfectly in those three-way valves. So I just ordered one, and I got to put that in, and maybe if I don't get a new sediment bowl soon, um, I'll go ahead and put that in, and I kind of touched up, uh, not filed down, but ran some memory cloth on the three-way valves, and we'll see if it seats better, but maybe not. So um, with that, if there's not any parting thoughts, I'll probably end it here. I hear my kids downstairs, um, so I'm surprised I still got peace at this point right now. So I really do appreciate it, everyone. Thanks for joining. Give me a thumbs up if you can, and stay tuned for more videos. And please help me help you. So let me know how I can help you, what I can show, whether it's a short, a video, any kind of topic or anything like that. Let's work through this together. And everyone, have a good night. Thanks for joining tonight. I can't thank you enough. It means so much to me. We'll catch you all next time and Shopside chats. So you all have a good evening.